Today we have T.S. Ramakrishnan, who is a public policy analyst. He has been doing his research analysis in public policies and programs of union and the state government. He has got his doctoral degree from Indian Institute of Management from Ahmedabad. Today we are going to talk about the various contributions and achievements of the union government.
I am Ramakrishnan, done my PhD from IIM Ahmedabad in public policy. I have been observing the developments of this government for the last 5 years. I would like to share with the people of India on some of the schemes and programs that have been implemented by the union government.
How many people look for employment in India every year?
It's a good question that how many people seek employment every year in India, or how many people come to the employment arena in every year. It has been estimated that around 1.2 crore people are getting ready to join the workforce, and it is about 10 lakh every month approximately, and it's a big task, because no other country in the world has these many people who are ready to join for the workforce. There is a demographic dividend. At the same time, we need to provide opportunities, employment opportunity for all these 1.2 crore people. So that's a real challenge for India.
Sir, one nice question. If you think we have to provide employment opportunities for the entire population, I would like to know how much we should grow, and mainly what are the sectors that has to be focused for this growth.
If at all we wanted to provide employment in excess of demand, if at all we wanted to create employment supply more than the demand, we may have to grow at a much faster rate than 7%, maybe 9% or 10%. Then only the jobs available will be much more than the jobs in demand. When it comes to sectors, there are 3 sectors we have. One is the primary sector of agriculture, which has a share of around 13% of GDP, and then the secondary sector, what we call it as manufacturing, which is about 16%, and the tertiary sector or the third sector we call it as, which is service sector, which is around 70-71%. India was primarily a agriculture country in 1950s and 60s, and instead of moving towards the secondary manufacturing sector, we have moved to the tertiary sector of services. That means we have just bypassed the manufacturing, and we are a service sector country with 70% of our GDP comes from services. So certainly there is tremendous scope for pushing our manufacturing sector, and which can create more jobs for the people who are joining the workforce.
Recently, Congress manifesto has stated that they would push the share of manufacturing from 16% of GDP to 25% of GDP in 5 years. In that case, I would like to ask that what has actually prevented the growth of manufacturing sectors in India?
Congress manifesto certainly says that they wanted to push the share of manufacturing from 16% to 25%, and thereby create more jobs for the youth. And we have to see why this is not possible given the current laws and current acts. In 2013, Congress brought Land Acquisition Act 2013. It is basically a compensation act for land acquisition for constructing factories and other kind of employment opportunities, and the compensation was decided like 4 times that of the circle rate for rural areas and 2 times that of the circle rate in urban areas. That means if the land of if the cost of 1 acre of land in a rural area is say 50 lakhs, then if at all you want to acquire land for construction of a factory, then you need to acquire it at 4 times that of that. That means we have to pay 2 crore for that. So which is enormous. And when it comes to urban areas, if the cost of a land is say 1 acre land is say 5 crores, then we have to pay 10 crores, twice that of that. So, this is actually a very detrimental step that the Congress government, UPA government too has done deliberately, so that the next government is not able to push the manufacturing. So, although the NDA government has done a lot on Make in India and give a push for manufacturing in locally, unless otherwise the land is available at a reasonable price, then it is not possible to push for manufacturing sector. So, the 2013 Act, Land Acquisition Act brought by the UPA 2 government is in very much contradictory to the promise that they are making right now, that the manufacturing they will push it from 16% of GDP to 25% of GDP. Unless otherwise you amend the law and then do something to bring down the prices to a reasonable extent, no investor or no entrepreneur is going to start new industry, and it is going to be a big, I mean it is going to be next to impossible.
Land Acquisition Act 2013 puts a premium on land price. Did Modi government do anything to rectify this?
As I said earlier, the one thing that really stops India expanding its manufacturing sector is the Land Acquisition Act 2013 that was brought by the UPA 2 government. And the next question is, if UPA has brought this act, what the Modi government did in the last 4.5 years to overcome that? The Modi government introduced some ordinances to overcome that 2013 Act, but the ordinances are just ordinances, because ordinances elapse after some time, and we were not in a, I mean the government was not in a position to continue the ordinance path forever, and the existing NDA government does not have majority in Rajya Sabha, and unless otherwise they have majority in both Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha, it is not possible for them to bring down to change the Land Acquisition Act 2013 and make it reasonable, make the availability of land reasonable for manufacturing sector. So, the very important point is that it is not as if we need to buy land at a cheaper rate from the landowners. That is not the point. The point is you can't keep the price of the land at a very high rate, at an extremely premium price, and if you do that, nobody will be ready to invest in India and nobody will be ready to start a new industry, because the cost of the investment will be very high and the manufacturing sector becomes financially unviable. Even that is the case, even the case of government projects. For example, National Highway Authority of India is spending almost 50 to 60% of its total construction cost of highways for land acquisition itself. So, they give huge compensation. Suppose if the project of a highway is say 1000 crores, they pay almost 600 crores for landowners to get the land, and they spend only the remaining 400 crores for construction of the land. A good example is the peripheral road of Bangalore. The peripheral road of Bangalore is for around 60 kilometers, and it has been estimated that it will cost 18,000 crores. That means to construct 1 kilometer of peripheral road in Bangalore, it is going to cost 300 crores, much higher than even the bullet train project. The bullet train project is going to cost only 200 crores, whereas the peripheral highway of Bangalore is going to cost 300 crores. Then what is the breakup of this? The breakup is like this: the construction cost is going to be just 6,000 crores, whereas the land acquisition cost is going to be around 12,000 crores. So, the agency JICA, Japan International Cooperative Agency, have clearly stated that we will support, we will give enough loan for the construction cost, but we will not give loan for the land acquisition cost. So, the Karnataka government does not know what to do. So, whether because they will get loan of 600 crores from JICA, they will have to make their own arrangement for paying compensation to the tune of 12,000 crores for this project. So, the project is it remains a non-starter, and as a result the Bangalore is facing a very severe traffic jam. So, this is the case even for a state government, even this is the case for a state government establishment. So, the state governments are not in a position to pay the compensation as per the 2013 Act. Imagine the case of a private player,
or a private an entrepreneur who wanted to start an industry or who wanted to start a factory. So, he will not be in a position to pay such a high premium for land acquisition and then construct a factory and then produce goods. So, unless otherwise, I mean, this issue is sorted out, it is not possible to push manufacturing enough.
Sir, what do you think was Modi's government contribution for the employment opportunities in the last 5 years?
So, the important role that was available for the government was to increase the public investment, to increase the employment opportunities. So, they did that, the Modi government did that very well in the last 4.5 years. They have invested so much in national highways, especially this Bharat Mala project, where it is connecting interior parts of the country to the nearest ports, and almost 35,000 kilometers of national highways have been constructed in the last 5 years, which is almost around 20-25 kilometers per day, which is a very significant achievement. That is one way of creating employment, because a road cannot be constructed without employing unskilled, semi-skilled, skilled, and then engineering professionals as well as management professionals. All of them have to be roped in order to construct roads. And similarly, in terms of railways, the railway has increased, doubled its execution speed, both in terms of electrification as well as in terms of doubling of tracks in the last 5 years compared to the 10 years of UPA regime. So, the government has invested a lot in creating employment opportunities, because the government wanted to create, on the one hand, create a good infrastructure that will ultimately push the economy and make the economy to grow. At the same time, they wanted to create enough employment opportunities. Then they also, there is a mismatch in India, there is a mismatch between demand and supply of talent. So, the talent has to be re-equipped so that they are employable in organizations. So, the government has introduced Kaushal Yojana, which is a skill development program, and people have been, lakhs and lakhs of people have been trained in the last 4.5 years to take up jobs in government, in various agencies, as well as do self-employment. There is so much has gone into this skill development program, and so many people have benefited. So, the government on its part has tried its level best to create employment opportunities. And the third one is the Mudra loan. They have given a huge, smaller loans for so many people, so that they can create opportunities for themselves. A loan of, say, even a 1 lakh given to an ordinary person can fetch him 15,000 to 20,000 rupees per month by having a small shop or by having a small eatery. So, this is how actually the government has created employment opportunities in the last 4.5 years.
Sir, I would like to thank you for giving your precious time with us and letting us, common people like us of India, to know about the contributions and achievements done by the existing government. So, as a policy decision maker, I think you have done an incredible job in research and analysis of how a government has spent their budget and allocated for the development of a country. So, I would like to thank you, sir, once again.